It seems Alex Lifeson, in partnership with Mojotone, are releasing a new lineup of amplifiers, cabinets, and combos. This is definitely worth talking about. Why don't you join me? Hey there, I'm Dan, the self-proclaimed lonely rocker. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I'm breaking with tradition a little bit. I seem to be doing that a bit lately, but I don't usually feature products that I don't physically have here in the room. But I got an email this morning from Mojotone announcing the launch of their new series of amplifiers with Alex Lifeson called Lerxst. Yes, we all have heard of Lerxst, his nickname, but we've got amplifiers, cabinets. Looks like they might have some combos. So definitely wanted to jump in and see what they have to offer, and maybe we can get a little discussion. We'd love to know what you guys think. Always happy to hear from you. Anyways, I think, at this era of Rush, we have to accept that Rush as we knew it is no longer. I mean, sadly, after they retired and a couple of years later, Neil Peart left us, 2020 was a kind of a shitty year. A few months after Neil left, I lost my dad. Later that year, we lost Eddie Van Halen. So 2020, sadly, wasn't the best year in the history of music. As much as I loved Neil and Eddie, I do have to say that my dad was the biggest rock star. But moving forward, I have no problem with the concept of keeping Rush top of mind. One of my guilty pleasures is watching those reaction channels, people who grew up listening to hip hop discovering Tom Sawyer for the first time. I really, really enjoy those videos. And there's a whole new legion of Rush fans. Sadly, they'll never get to see the original Rush live. But keeping Rush top of mind, I got no problem with that because I would love for the legacy of Rush to continue on. Getty and Alex have been getting busier and busier with different projects. And I think we have to accept that Rush is a brand with a bit of brand power. But Rush has always had integrity. And when I think of Rush, aside from the obvious, the musicianship and the songwriting, to me, I've always associated Rush and integrity. But when you have a band with the brand power of a Rush, there's a lot of opportunities to put your name on all sorts of things to make money. Now, they do have their beer brand, and they seem to be having fun with that. Those commercials they put out, they're a lot of fun. And I've put down a few here. I got a few cans here in the studio. I haven't really jumped on all the Rush products. I mean, there's obviously the Alex Lifeson guitars. The one thing I do have is the Geddy Lee MP40 bass pedal. This thing's pretty awesome. I actually did a whole review about this. But when you're a band like Rush, you have a lot of companies that sort of throw ideas at you. And if you look at bands like Kiss, who really would put their name on virtually anything to make a buck, Rush has not been like that. So we're going to talk about these amps in a second, but I found a couple of leaks of products that were pitched to Rush, and thankfully they never saw the light of day, but I do have the leaks here. Now, one of them is this line of beanless chili called Closer to the Fart. I don't make this up. I didn't make this up. I just found a leak of this. You let me know what you think about that. Another one here, which honestly is not that original, but it was a Chevy Tahoe with air conditioning and power windows. Now, I don't even know why that's funny, because power windows was a play on words on the actual power windows, and I don't think you can play it backwards. Obviously, it wouldn't work, and it would probably be big money anyways, pun intended. Anyways, and the last one that I saw here, and I can't believe someone actually pitched this to the boys, but this is a Rush lube. Yes, can you believe it? A Rush lube. Please your man on those cold, dry winter nights. Rush lube, it's called Caress of Steel. Terrible. But thankfully, Rush has integrity, and that never saw the light of day, so let's move on from that. By the way, I'd love to riff on this whole Rush product theme. If you got some ideas, I would love to hear yours. Let me know in the comments. Anyways, I want to check out these amps and see what they're all about, see what they're offering. I don't know how soon they're going to be making it through Canada. I would love to get one here in the studio. I'm going to make no promises. I'm not some huge YouTube channel, but if I can get my hands on one, just to have one, I would happily make space in my backline here for an Alex Lifeson Lerxst amplifier. So let's start off and take a look at the website here. What are they saying? Drawing inspiration from Alex Lifeson's 50-year tone journey, as well as his many years of experience on stage and in the studio, the all-new Lerxst family of products offers every player the ability to achieve a diverse palette of tones. Well, Alex Lifeson history, he was known for using Marshalls, high watt there for a while. In the 80s, he went through his Galen Kruger phase, was probably my least favorite sound and tones that you used to get. He went through Hughes and Kettner amps, and then he sort of made his way back to Marshalls or modified Marshalls that became sort of his sub-signature Lerxst amplifiers. But now it's official. They actually have a commercially available lineup of Lerxst amplifiers. So the first one, let's take a look at the Omega head here. Now, the first thing I notice is the lettering on here. It's very reminiscent of moving pictures. And I have to say, I love this little Rush insignia here, the little man and star. But what exactly is this? So it's a switchable 50, 25 watt Power section, foot switchable clean and lead channels, 3-band EQ, a stereo effects loop, a tribute to the skill and artistry of boutique amplifiers and representing the finest elements of craftsmanship, tone, and quality. The flagship amp is hand-built and wired in Burga, North Carolina. Burga, North Carolina. Okay, I've never heard of Burga. Let's take a look at this. So yeah, I really love this little man and star thing here. Obviously that glows. I don't know if that turns on when it's on or that's a channel indicator. Not really sure. I don't want to read the whole website. You can look at that yourself at lerxstamps.com. If you read it wrong, it looks like lerxstamps.com, but it's lerxstamps.com. Anyways, technical specifications: a shared 3-band EQ, stereo effects loop, selectable impedances for 8 and 16. That's pretty standard with modern amplifiers. It comes with a foot switch. 2 JJEL34 power tubes, 3 JJ12AX7 preamp tubes, 2-channel switchable. I don't want to make any assumptions, but certainly this looked like it's influenced by a certain Marshall amplifier, but clearly there are some different features in here. Now, the first thing I want to know is the price, because actually Jimmy Page recently came out with a limited edition Jimmy Page amplifiers, and those things are expensive. But how much are these amps? Because we need to know. So the flagship amplifier, $34.95. So that'll be US dollars, I assume. You know what? That's actually not bad. I'll translate that into maybe a little over 5,000 in Canadian dollars. Considering what good tube amplifiers cost these days, $3,500 for a signature Alex Lifeson amplifier is actually pretty good. That's the special edition one. Then you've got the Lerxst Omega Amp. It's $2,500. You know what? That's actually not bad. I have to say I'm pretty pleased with the pricing. I think this is attainable for quite a lot of players. There's a combo version here at just under $2,000. And then there's a 30-watt version of this for $1,695. And then they've got a whole selection of different cabinets. You got 4x12, the special edition 4x12, and the 2x12 extension, and the Lerxst Omega 2x12 extension. So little different flavors. We'll see what probably different speaker configurations perhaps. Now, speaker cabs are actually really expensive right now. I mean, we've all dealt with supply chain issues, but just the cost of the birch material, and certain birch is really hard to get. It's really, really expensive. So seeing cabinets for $1,500, $1,600, it's almost as much as the amplifier, which is crazy. Now, fortunately for me, I record direct and I don't need cabs anymore. But if you're on the market for a cab, be prepared to shell out a couple of bucks for that. But let's see what they've got inside here. And then we'll get back to the amplifiers in a second. So the 4x12 Omega extension cabinet is modeled after a 1972 Marshall 2069, one that he used during the recording of Clockwork Angels. Now they're using Mojotone speakers, so they've created a speaker, but they're saying they're using British-made cones to replicate pre-rolla tones that help shape Alex's early sound. So they're borrowing different elements to create sort of, new speakers that are sort of inspired by different eras of Alex's tone. So the special edition one, so you got an Omega 4x12 extension cabinet, $1,600, but then you have a 4x12 special edition, which is actually a little bit cheaper. Featuring the black Levant vinyl, am I pronouncing that right? Jet black basket weave grill cloth, accented by silver piping. Again, it's the same BV25M speakers in there, hand-wired and soldered for a 16 ohm load. So a couple different flavors. They have similar speakers in there, but the cabinets are a bit different, so you'll get a different tone. So we don't have to go through all of them, but I said you got the 2x12, another 1x12 cabinet. So if you're into cabinets, you just want to show it off in your studio, a variety of different cabinets here. So let's take a look at some of the other amplifiers. I'm curious about this 30-watt one, the Lerxst CHI 30-head amplifier, $1,695, so it's a reasonable price. This has 6L6 power tubes in it. This actually looks like great value, $1,695, all tube. I guess, like I said, 6L6 power tubes. This would be a great little studio amplifier. If you're still into gigging with real amplifiers, be a little bit smaller. I'd be very curious to hear how this one sounds. But I think, honestly, $1,695, look at some amplifiers out there today. $1,695 is not a lot of money for a signature amp of one of the most well-known rock guitar players of all time. So I'm quite thrilled to see that they're not trying to take all of our money away, because Rush fans are going to run out and buy these as soon as they're available. So I'm just looking here to just understand the difference between the regular Omega head and the special edition. Aside from the Tolex, you've got the black version, the S Special Edition or SE, and then the gray Tolex. Both have the same, look, and the insignias there, that moving pictures, lettering and things like that. Really, the difference between the two is that the special edition is a hand-wired edition. They talk about specific attention to detail, like that 800 hertz to 2.5 kilohertz range, which appeared heavily in many of his renowned moving pictures era tones. Those are some of my favorite Lifeson tones, so if this amp would help me get there, certainly would be a lot of fun to play with. Now, I'm kind of like on the fence about, trying to sound like my heroes. I like to take inspiration from my heroes. I mean, we all know a lot of that tone is in the approach. People say it's in the fingers. It's, a combination of your technique and your approach combined with your choices of amps and pedals and speakers. There's a lot of things that go into ultimately shaping the tone. But someone's sort of emotion and, their style of playing and just physically how they attack the instrument is going to have a lot to do with the tone. So I don't think you're going to plug in here and sound like Alex Lifeson. So, I take that with a grain of salt. There's historical significance for me. Moving Pictures, I would consider my favorite and most inspirational album. So the fact that they're making reference to that, obviously they've done that with the lettering on the amplifier, very reminiscent of that period. So obviously the regular Omega head is their production amp, and then you've got a hand-wired version, a little more attention to detail. So a hand-wired tube amplifier made in the United States, what they're offering it, I think, is a really fair price based on today's numbers, $3,500, honestly, for a hand-wired amplifier. Very, very, very competitive. So I think they're going to move a number of units at that price. Anyways, I don't know what else to say about this. I'm pretty excited. I would love to see one. Mojotones, if any are passing through Canada, I would love to do a review. Maybe I can get my hands on. Maybe that's my next amplifier. You never know. Would love to check out the Lerxst Alex Lifeson amplifier from Mojotones. Anyways, would love to hear what you think about this. How do you feel about products coming out related to your favorite band or your Rush fan? What do you think about products like this? Personally, I think this is a great looking product. That word integrity really comes to mind. And the fact that they're not overpriced. Like I said, those Jimmy Page amps are ridiculously expensive and not really readily available. So you know that they're going to go up in price once they get into the marketplace. So I really like the approach here. I think it's in Rush fashion. It feels fair and a product that I'd be excited to get behind and would love to get my hands on. No promises, but definitely something worth checking out. So again, I would love to hear your thoughts about the Lerxst Omega amplifiers, cabs, combos. Are you into getting one? Let me know in the comments. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. And remember, you don't need a band to rock and roll. And I'll catch you in the next one. Hey, you. Yeah, you. You made it all the way to the end. I'd love to know who you are. Perhaps you can let me know in the comments. I've got another video waiting for you right here if you want to check it out. And if you check the description, there's all sorts of ways to support the channel. Affiliate links, I'm on Patreon, and I've got merch. It's all in the description. And I hope to see you again in another video.